woke up on a chilly morning and headed through the beautiful green Oregon forest down towards the coast. We arrived at Canon Beach and made the walk down towards the water. As we approached the coast, Haystack Rock came into view. Haystack Rock is famous for one thing: puffins, and we were set on finding them. What's up, everybody? Back with another video today, and today is an exciting one. We are on the Oregon coast at Canon Beach. Behind me here is Haystack Rock, where you can find tufted puffins. So excited to be here. There's probably like 5 lifers that I could possibly get here. Without further ado, let's go see what birds I can find. It didn't take long, but I already picked up my first lifer of Canon Beach. That is the pelagic cormorant. It's a cormorant with a very thin bill. It's just up here on the rocks back here. We got some shots of them flying. They have a white rump as well. Very happy to see that bird. It's been a while. You can pick them up in California, but I did not when I was there, so it's really good to finally get that on my life list. We admired the pelagic cormorants as they whipped around the giant rock, seeking small ledges for landing. A black oyster catcher picked through the rocky beach and mussels, undoubtedly searching for something to eat as the waves crashed around it. Second lifer of the trip down. Very excited about this one. Of course, we're here for the puffins, so I've been rushing past some of these lifers, but we'll feature them even more in a little bit. Harlequin duck, finally on the life list. Really happy to pick that bird up as well. And it's just sitting on the rock out here. We're gonna get more footage of that later, but let's go see if we can finally get these puffins on camera. We surveyed Haystack Rock and the beach looking for any signs of the puffins, either on the rock or flying over. A pair of bald eagles stood atop a distant formation. These eagles hunt the puffins, so this made us extremely nervous that they wouldn't show up. I spotted a new bird standing in the distance, my lifer, pigeon guillemot. We watched the birds flying sporadically against the rocks until it finally happened. Got the puffins on camera. They're absolutely incredible. Tufted puffin on my life list. They keep flying past Haystack Rock, and I even got one landing near the rock because that's where they nest. Absolutely incredible to finally pick up these birds. Enjoy the tufted puffins. They are incredible. Picked up another lifer that I forgot about, I guess, on the way here. Common murre. I don't know if it's a lifer or a camera lifer, but it will be up on the screen. Common murre, at least a camera lifer, maybe a lifer as well. Super happy to pick that up. There's hundreds out here. Really, really, really cool birds, little small seabird type things. This place is a treasure trove of birds. We continued surveying the beach looking for even more lifers. The scenery was breathtakingly beautiful. Black turnstones danced around the tide, picking through the seagrass-covered rocks. These birds live all along the western coast, and I've seen them as far south as San Diego, California. Surf scoters battled the raging waves as they slammed against the jagged boulders. It was impressive seeing them navigate the rough waters without getting hurt. I got better views of my new lifer, the harlequin duck. This is one of the most beautiful duck species in the world. What's interesting about this bird is that it rides the waves with ease, diving into the rough water without smashing into any rocks. I felt very fortunate to have gotten such good looks at this iconic bird, as I don't have this species near me at home. A bird I wasn't expecting in the area, the American crow, joined us on the beach as well. I forget how much of a generalist these birds are, ranging from open meadows on the mountainsides all the way down to the sea. Several Brandt's cormorants perched on the cliffside. These beautiful cormorants sport bright blue necks and are some of my favorites to see. Just picked up arguably the hardest lifer of this trip to get, a surf bird perched up on the rocks back over here. Absolutely incredible. We can't believe that we picked that one up. That was one that we were kind of hoping for but not expecting to see, and we picked up a surf bird. Cannot believe that. All right, so we're wrapping it up here at Haystack Rock, and it's been absolutely incredible so far. Picked up every single lifer that I think I possibly could have gotten, besides like white-winged scoter, which is my nemesis bird, which is appropriate because guess what? It's a nemesis bird. It's supposed to take forever. We got to talk to a lot of people here at the beach and show them the puffins and talk to them about the bald eagles that were perched up on the rock, and just a lot of fun. 5 lifers on the day. That's absolutely insane. This adventure's not over though. Let's see what other birds we can find. There's more lifers to come. Our mission complete and feeling extremely happy with our views of the puffins, we decided to try a local restaurant to Oregon known as Moe's. The food was definitely just okay, nothing special. But the peanut butter lifer pie was to die for. We headed into town for some souvenirs, but all the puffins were the wrong species. I finally found a magnet with an actual tufted puffin, and we headed out to our last location of the day. We're at the South Jetty at Nehalem Bay, and we're looking for some loons, of course, and possible auklets. We'll see if we can find either of those. If we can't, tomorrow we're going to Newport Beach, which is another beach in the area. Probably have a chance to see them, some of those birds there as well. So let's head down to this bay area and see if we can find some of these amazing birds. We walked along the sandy beach towards a rocky jetty. We stationed ourselves right next to the water as the waves crashed around us, hoping to find some auklets and loons. We've seen some awesome birds out here so far. We've got our best views so far of pigeon, guillemot. In fact, one was swimming right next to us over here, which was really awesome to see. We also picked up another mammal for the trip, a seal. Species will be up on the screen because I don't remember what species it was. And then we have a pelagic cormorant swimming in the water just right over here. I'm watching it right now. Absolutely incredible looking species. Again, that was a lifer earlier today, so really happy to get these close-up views of it swimming in the water for us. Just an amazing spot. No loons, unfortunately. That's what we were here for, but we did pick up a lifer. I took a picture of a bird way at the bottom of the jetty, and it was a wandering tattler. So that is a lifer for the trip. Cannot believe it. It was just bobbing up and down at the end of the jetty over here. Another lifer on the trip. I think that's brought us up to 11, maybe 12, I can't remember, of total in Oregon. If you haven't seen my older videos, go back and see them. But we're also joined here by Birding with Levi. So pretty awesome to see Birding with Levi here. Go check him out on Instagram and TikTok, Birding with Levi on all socials. Links will be in the description as well. We got more views of the harbor seal as it kept poking its head out of the water. A pigeon guillemot zoomed past us, and we yet again got great views of a pelagic cormorant bobbing up and down in the waves. As As we walked back to the car, we found a white-crowned sparrow perched up perfectly, singing into the air. All right, so in the parking lot over here, right behind me in these bushes, I just picked up chestnut-back chickadee. Just watching in these bushes, chestnut-back chickadees, they're jumping around, they're having a good time, they're feeding on some plants over here, and I got within just a couple feet of one for some photos. So go check Instagram out. I'll probably post those photos. If they're not there already, they'll be there in a little bit. But yeah, chestnut-back chickadee on camera. We got that lifer just a couple days ago, and now we have a camera lifer of it. I can't believe it. Another bird off of our list. We only have a few birds that we could possibly get on camera to move forward. We drove off to finish the day, and I couldn't believe what a lifer-filled day it was. The next morning, we started off seeing some type of exotic guinea fowl. We yet again made our way down to the coast, hoping to fill in some gaps from the previous day. We arrived at an ocean lookout point, and the waves and wind were incredibly high. A single harlequin duck battled against the raging sea, causing me to admire its resiliency once again. A surf scoter darted through the air, heading deeper out to sea. The wind made it incredibly difficult to stabilize the camera, but we were too excited to give up. Some black oyster catchers landed incredibly close to us on the rocks. This is a bird that I have seen as far south as San Diego as well. One of my favorite coastal birds, as they feature their bright reddish-orange beaks and sleek black plumage. A group of brown pelicans seemed unfazed by the wind as they cut through the air. Up by the bathrooms were some whimbrel feeding in the grass and scurrying around. We got a lifer out here, despite the wind, despite all the crazy waves going on. Pacific loons, finally, a nemesis bird knocked off the list. Pacific loons flew by. The footage isn't great, they're way out in the distance, obviously, but super happy to pick up that bird. And we got another lifer for the trip. That's lifer number 12 for us total for all the Oregon series. If you haven't seen the older videos, go back and watch them. Also saw some other amazing species out there, as you've already seen. So we're gonna head to our next stop, and apparently we can get up and close with a variety of different species. Our next stop was another location known as Devil's Punch Bowl. It's known for this rock formation that has been cut out and formed by the sea to create this bowl formation. Humans are fascinated by nature's art, and this one was no exception, gathering a large crowd. We were just looking at a wanderling tattler, and I got it on camera this time. So a camera lifer. I know I just picked that up earlier in the adventure, but today we got it on camera. Absolutely incredible. We're knocking every bird off my list that I could possibly wish for in this area. We're gonna go get some lunch after viewing that beautiful tattler species. We're gonna go get some lunch, recharge, and then head back out and go to the really, really good spot where you can get kind of close, hopefully, to some seabirds. Before leaving Devil's Punch Bowl, I observed a Caspian tern flying by just above the ocean water. A female surf scoter dove into the water looking for a meal. I was so grateful to get such good looks at these birds, as I've struggled to find the few vagrants that visit my home state. We headed into the town of Newport once again, looking for a bite to eat. We chose a Thai place right on the water that had a perfect view of the port, the surrounding water, and the birds outside. We got to enjoy incredible food and observed birds at a relatively close range. What could be better than this? We watched a pigeon guillemot up close. These penguin-like birds are really fascinating to me, and I couldn't wait to study up on them when I got home. What was abundant in the port were common loons. And more common loons. And more common loons. We watched as a California sea lion struggled to keep its meal away from the surrounding gulls. These sea lions are one of the main attractions of the town of Newport, as you will see in just a bit. A western gull stood just outside the window, eyeing our delicious meals. After eating, we walked back down the main road, seeing a Ripley's Believe It or Not museum featuring a giant crystal Hulk and Newport's main celebrities. We drove across this beautiful bridge to get to our next location. Normally, I don't like bridges as The combination of my fear of heights plus the water below is extra scary to me. When we arrived, we found this small gull species. After sending it in to multiple gull ID groups, friends, and birders, we came to the conclusion that this was a short-billed gull that had been bleached by the sun. Bleaching is a phenomenon that takes place quite frequently in the PNW. The combination of sun and salt water causes the gull's feathers to turn almost completely white, making gull ID even harder to overcome. It is windy, so windy outside right now. Really, really hard to bird, especially with the camera. The camera's being whipped around, but we did just pick up a lifer and our nemesis bird, white-winged scoter. There's a female out there. You'll see 3 birds. The white-winged scoter remains on the left side the whole time. In the middle is a pigeon guillemot, and on the right, they kind of switch back and forth, is a surf scoter. But the one on the far left is a white-winged scoter, so super, super happy to finally get that bird on my life list. Just back here in the estuary, here in the water here, pretty awesome to see that bird. We're gonna continue down and see if we can find a red-throated loon. The wind is crazy out here today at Newport, Oregon, but we are still finding birds. In fact, we just picked up on camera some red-necked grebes, which if you remember on my top 5 ducks video, I picked up the red-necked grebe in Utah as a rare bird, as a lifer. So red-necked grebes out there on the water. Pretty cool to pick those birds up, one of our targets for the day, but again, it's just so windy. I'm sorry, the footage is gonna be shaky, probably. I'll try to stabilize it as best as I can as we walk along here, but this is kind of insane, I'm not gonna lie. So much wind today. Arriving at the jetty, we sat down on the rocks and waited for our targets to appear. We got more looks at common loons, hoping that a red-throated loon would appear at any moment from the watery depths. We also got more looks at surf scoters as the wind whipped my camera back and forth. I apologize for how shaky this footage is, but that's the nature of coastal birding, unfortunately. Like I mentioned before, the wind out here is insane, and we're walking out on a jetty to try to see some crazy seabirds. I will say this though, I just got my best footage ever and a lifer earlier today. Pacific loon on camera. Really happy to get that up. That was absolutely incredible. Pacific loon on camera. Very, very close shots of that. We also got red-necked phalarope just right next to it. But we're gonna head over here, see if we can pick up any other loons. We need red-throated loon, but again, like I mentioned before, I'm just out here surviving. The wind's crazy. We hopped from boulder to boulder on the jetty, finally deciding that we shouldn't go any further. There were birds in the distance, but we weren't sure how safe it would be if we continued. A raft of western grebes sat on the water just ahead. This is a familiar bird to home, but it was fun seeing them on the ocean rather than on the inland lakes. A brown pelican slammed into the water and looked extremely large compared to the surrounding loons. I got more views of Pacific loon before it dove into the water. Not picking up our targets, we headed back to the car and watched a bald eagle hover in the raging winds. Oregon's coast is amazing. We found so many lifers and couldn't believe our luck. Make sure you subscribe so you don't miss my adventure looking for great gray owls coming soon next week. Thanks so much for joining me on this journey. I hope to see you all next time on Bright-Eyed Birding.